And we are live. For the ones that went to SQ at HQ, how did it go? It looked like it was an awesome turnout. And I'll definitely try to go next year for sure. You know, life has its technical difficulties, just like tonight's show. But thank you guys for tuning in. It is Kicking It with Andy, and we got Joe Hobart here in the green room hanging out. We're going to bring him on. He is the top tech electrical designer at KICKER. We're going to talk about what he does for them and everything that he knows about car audio. He's very smart. So without further ado, let's kick off the intro. Hit it, Ernie. Not gonna be able to hear the intro. It's all right. It's all right. I think you know it by now.
Uh-oh. Full of wasted information. Nice.
Okay. So we're kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud.
Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We got a very special guest, but KICKER Car, thank you for gifting 50 green team memberships. KICKER Car was at SQ at HQ, and he's getting ready for Slamology, I think. Man, love you guys. Thank you, KICKER Car. Appreciate all that you do. How are those new QA speakers? If you're not part of KICKER Club, you're probably sleeping under a rock. Appreciate everybody tuning in here with me tonight. And we got a very special guest. And this is back to back. We had Skills USA come on. And man, Jack is just an awesome guy. And he was even on Unmasked last week at the end, if you caught that. But now we got Joe Hobart going to join us. And I know you guys watch Unmasked. If you're tuning in here, if you don't, it's KICKER Unmasked on YouTube, Facebook, everything. And this guy is the brains behind a lot of the amplifier stuff. And we'll get into exactly what he does on the electrical engineering side. But love you guys. Thank you for tuning in here with me tonight. It is a hot one. I am sweating. Rode the motorcycle with the kiddos. A wagon already went into our brand new car. Life is great, but it's Kicking It with dandy. Enter the giveaway at kicker.com/umweekly. This is the show where we do the 50% off Bullfrog 100s, TW12s, everything, and we have fun here. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Look, there he is, Garrett Claridge. Thank you for tuning in, man. This guy loves to blow up speakers on YouTube. Love the subwoofer video, by the way. And Kicker actually has the same kind of stuff. Maybe we'll, excuse me, ask Joe about that with the switchable ohm selection and how that all that stuff works. But that was cool that you blew that up, took it apart, and showed us how that JBL worked. But thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. Kyle, what is up? Doing good here. Sort of. T-Brew, how you doing, man? What is up? Appreciate you. There he is, Uncle Bobby B. There it is.
Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.
Uncle Bobby B. Poor Joe in the background. He can't hear any audio. Hold on a second. I am choking. It's like that tickle. Usually it's something else. Now, I don't like the tickle. It completely stops, derails the train. But thank you, Bobby B. Thank you for tuning in. Jason W2000, you know what? He had a very good question on my post on Facebook. You know what? Let me pull that up here. And I do want to have that keyed up and ready to go because he asked a very good question here. Let me go back to my Facebook here. 5 million things going on, of course. Let's see. Let me scroll down here. We got to look at it. Yes, we got to look at it. But it was the comment. I want that queued up. Good to go. Oh, you know what? It wasn't that one. I thought it was the other one. Maybe it was this one. Let's see. Maybe it was on the Kicker page. You know what, Jason? I know you asked that question. Put it down in the comments so I can pull that up later. But thank you for tuning in, man. He had a really good question. I wanted to ask Joe about it tonight. And, yeah, Class D controllers, absolutely. Pro Install, thank you for tuning in. Great to be here. Great to see you. Hope you've been well. Appreciate you guys. Matthew Davis, I love when you guys bring on engineers. I know so far we've brought Kip on the show. We've brought Ron, Aaron, Surratt, and John Myers. Now we're going to have Joe Hobart join us, and it's going to be an interesting show because every time I see him on Unmasked, they bring him on for, like, when we bring out the rubber duck, that's when they bring on Joe Hobart. But without further ado, we need to just bring on Joe. We need to bring him on and get this show rolling. So I'll see you guys in a minute.
Director of Electrical Engineering here at Stillwater Designs. Been here for 19 years now. Spent my whole life in car audio from before I even had a car. So this has been my passion since I grew up, growing up. Love everything about it. Can't say enough about this brand.
That's it. Thank you, Jason. Drum roll, Joe Hobart, everybody. Thank you for joining me here tonight, Joe. I wish you could hear the audio. Always something. You know how that goes with electronics. Thank you for joining me here tonight.
Of course, glad to be here.
Absolutely. I like the shirt you got on there. OG Kicker t-shirt. I know you go ahead. I was going to say, I know
you get the laid back version tonight. I'm not at work, so.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
T-shirt.
Thank you for joining
me right?
off the clock, too. Off the clock.
Of course.
Yeah. I know you guys love Kicker, though. You wouldn't be there for as long as you have. For the people at home, how long have you been working at Kicker?
20 years, November 17th.
Wow. 20 years. 2 decades of just living loud. So it's 2006? Wow.
Yep. And they bought Soundgate, the company I was working for at that time, and brought me down.
Wow. So Soundgate, what did you do with Soundgate there in particular compared to what you do now?
Soundgate, I did engineering as well, right? But that was like mainly reverse engineering of vehicle buses, iPods, Bluetooth. Sirius
wow.
satellite radio, XM satellite radio, CAN buses, whatever. We're like the early version of pack and peripheral and, those type of guys, right? So
Yeah,
you're amp pros. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So something entirely different compared to what you do now. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you do? If you could like just sum it down to like 2 sentences, what do you do at Kicker?
I'm the electronics janitor now.
Someone's got to do it.
No, my official title is director of engineering. I'm doing a lot of like where are we headed, where's the new tech, testing, features, helping the guys when they run into problems. But we got a great group of engineers at this point with Fernando 1, Fernando 2, Austin Cole, Levi. There's a whole group of them, Michael. And so those guys are doing the dirt, the down and dirty, getting the amplifier designs done. And then we're doing a lot of the peripheral interfacing and that type of stuff, integration, getting stuff made for the future.
So there's not just one person. I always thought it was just Steve Irby back in the kitchen cooking everything,
No, Steve's focus is acoustics, right? So he is very heavily involved in acoustics. I am a little bit like Steve for the electronic side, right? I do kind of the same thing.
Nice. Now, with the electronic side, so that's pretty much everything amplifiers and even marine. It's not just the 12-volt section or the car audio section.
It's headphones, Bluetooth speakers, amplifiers, marine stuff, radios, pretty much all of it. Processors, keys, key locks, kiss locks, loads, anything that has electronics thing in it. Yeah, I'm involved with one way.
So
or the
you
other.
pretty much oversee everything that everybody's doing. Like you're the first man in charge, pretty much with that.
With the electronic side, yes, sir.
With the electronic side. I mean, that's crazy because, whenever I talk to people that aren't even like, black and yellow kicker, lovers, I'll be like, listen, man, you can harp on the subs, you can harp on whatever, but whenever it comes to the amplifiers, they are bulletproof. Like they are made for big dummies. How do you guys do that? How do you make those amplifiers so good?
Well, I appreciate that. 15 years ago when I took this job, that was my number one goal, right?
Yeah.
A few things that we've implemented that were completely unique to us from pretty much anybody else in the industry. I've been around a lot of times. I have a bunch of friends. I've been a bunch of places. Is not only do we do the lab testing, right? They go through the audio precision tests. They go through the short tests. They go through the over voltage, the under voltage,
right?
All that stuff, right? But then we spend another week or two doing life cycle tests. I know you've been to Kicker, but I don't think you've been around since we built the new labs.
No.
And in the new labs, we simulate 4 cars, basically. Battery, 17 feet of wire, resistive ground, alternator that's controlled by a computer. So we can turn it on and off, like start, stop. And we run them for at least 24 hours for every round of samples for each amplifier, multiple versions of it. So normally by the time it even gets to the okay to be approved, it's been through 200 to 300 hours of testing. Right?
Wow. And that's the thing. It's like you need that real world testing to see what it's going to do in the real world. So that's awesome. I remember you guys having the alternator set up, but that was more for just a power supply. So this is a whole nother thing.
Of it. It's a whole nother room now. Yeah, got 4 of those setups. We've made a computer with controllers and on CAN network, and we can control pretty much everything at this point.
Wow.
And so we can simulate when we have a car problem, we can go in there and try to simulate it, find the same issue.
That's crazy. I mean, you almost need something like that for when you are, R&D designing stuff constantly, because you guys got like a 4 or 5 year commitment to each product before it actually comes to life, per se, on the market.
Well, normally we have a 2.5 year development cycle on complicated things, but then it's going to have a 4-year life cycle, right? So you want to make sure it's as reliable as it possibly can be before it ever hits the market, and that's really what we spend most of our time doing. Once we hash out the performance side and the features, right, the rest of it's spent on robustness, right? We want this thing to be basically bulletproof.
Yeah.
Everybody stubs their toes sometimes, but we're trying to stub our toes way before it ever gets to the consumer, right?
Yeah.
And so we spend a lot of times doing that.
No, that's awesome. And that's the thing. It's like I have never with the monoblock amplifiers for the bass. Like I've blown 2 4-channels, okay, but it was just low voltage. I beat the crap out of it, and then the only monoblock that I ever blew up that you did design was the LX3000, but I put a Tesla coil on the input side, so. It was working, all right? It was working. It was sending signal, and you said 400 watts, so I just, full tilt boogie 400 watts. That's all.
So you actually took out the input stage, probably, not the actually output stage.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
You said high voltage, so I just sent it. Didn't say how high. Maybe you did, actually. But that Fit 2 technology is nice. It works because, if you got a good signal in, you don't even technically need a line-out converter, and just tap it right in there.
Nope. And actually, the Fit 2 stuff at this point, it's actually better than any line-out converter that you can find for clean signal, frequency response, THD. So yeah, we almost suggest not to, even though we make LOCs and sell a bunch of them, right?
Yeah. The Kiss Lock too. It's for the price and what it does. I mean, it works, but right, if you can just if you have an amplifier that can just accept that, which all of them do now, right? The CX, the LX, and the Warhorse. So at least the main 3 right there.
KXA, all of them do.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense because then that's one less product that you need in between everything. One more thing that could go wrong. It's one less thing, actually. And all you need is the Kissel, which is just RCA to speaker, which they're pretty neat.
Yep.
Absolutely. So with everything that you said that you do there and oversee all that stuff, I know you're very happy with the Warhorse, the 3600 that came out. And I remember you talking about like how it has a split design on the power section. Elaborate at that on some with other amplifiers and what they do compared to what you guys did with the Warhorse.
Well, so you can take 2 amplifiers with the same exact components with different layouts and have a much different power output level, THD level, and reliability level, right? So to be honest, the layout of the amplifier is, if not as important, sometimes more important than the parts you're choosing. And that's the thing that gets forgotten, and that's kind of one of the bigger differences between off-the-shelf amplifiers, as I would call them, and stuff that's designed by somebody that really knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like an off-the-shelf amplifier will get 85% there, 80% there, and then it's done. It worked, it made power, and they're happy, right? But if you want to really start looking at it, you look at spiking, you look at transients, you look at different places on the board and see how the energy is actually flowing through the PCB. And you'll start finding places that are struggling. Like it's like when you take a hose and you crimp it, right? The water chugs through the hose, right? Well, the same thing happens on the PCB traces. And all that stuff causes stress on the FETs, the drive components, the power supply. And so we spend a lot of time optimizing that. The more power we make, the more time we spend optimizing it. So the 3601 is almost symmetrical, right? If you look at it, as much as possible, every component is the same distance from a FET leg. Every component is the same distance from a transformer, so that you're sharing the current equally across all the parts. And that makes the thing a lot more reliable, so you don't have one part that fails because it was taking 60% of the current and the other 3 were eating up 40% of the current, right?
Wow.
Everything's even. And those are the things that are hard to show in a test, right?
Right.
But they show up in long-term reliability.
Yeah, because you can't. That's the thing with the 81 dyno or any kind of dyno. It's like you're just seeing, brass tacks. You're not seeing everything. You want to see the details like that. And I know you guys use the what is it? The AP, not the audio precision. Yeah, AP. That's it.
The dynos are way too easy to fool.
Yeah.
Way too easy to fool. Unfortunately.
That's the thing, too. That's why, I've always been different with the dynos because I use the SPL lab and just it actually reads the resistance, which, the 81 and even the AP, they just assume that it's that resistance. That's why I love the SPL lab because it kind of shows me the sine wave going in and out. But
yeah, you can see both.
Still not going to show what you're talking about. It's just the
no,
output,
it doesn't show all the other stuff. But the problem is because they internally loaded the amp dyno, right? It's got like little 500 watt loads in there. they can only take that energy for a short period of time. So even their RMS testing is kind of like dynamic testing because it's a little tiny snapshot of time, right?
Yeah.
To get power. So it's a good start, right? It's just like, they had those car dynos. You could plug in your cigarette lighter and tell them how much your car weighed and then go hit the gas and go down the road and get an idea of what your horsepower is, right? It's the same thing. And it's pretty good. It's good enough for consumer stuff.
Yeah.
But our stuff, just as an example, all of our amplifiers have to play full power for a minute straight into a fixed load before, they'll even ever come out of one of our labs. Well, most of those half bridge and full bridge amps from Brazil or other places won't make 10 seconds or 5 seconds, right? So it's a different type of, the heat's the killer. You can't get it out of them. And, so that there's other important parts to the design side that we work with.
Absolutely, and I know I even tested that on the show here with the CX-1800 and just literally just let it eat at full rated power, and I think it stayed on for 2.5 minutes, and then it hit thermal finally. And that's the thing where it's like if you're running that thing normally at like 1 ohm and you're on music, it's dynamic. You might hit that 1800 watts, you might not, and you're going to be 900 plus and up. That thing's going to sing for a long time. And then if you put some active cooling out it, you can get it a little bit longer too. So I just like the way that you guys make those amplifiers last. And every time I do a dyno, it's like, okay, it's going to do rated and then some, and I'm beefing up the dyno now. I got 10,000 watts of resistors. I just need more power supply and batteries. But either way, I want to dyno the OG Warhorse and do a comparison video. It'd be really cool. But either way,
I haven't tried. I'm not sure the dyno will actually read the OG Warhorse. That's a good question.
It won't. The 81 won't. But I actually competed with the Warhorse 10K last year, and I hooked it up to
they can clamp it. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the only way. Yeah, because it has to be that push pull, and then you just yep. It's a cool design though. I know you you were working there technically, but that was probably towards the end of that design of that product, right?
I got there right when that was getting released. Yes.
Wow. So it took a long time for you to design a Warhorse. Why did it take so long, man? No, I'm just kidding.
I get to make suggestions to product planning team because I'm on it, but I don't get to decide.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. Steve's got the final blow, No, and I know the whole story with that, and it's so cool to see all the stuff that's coming now, and now the L7XS stuff is coming soon.
On the website.
Yeah, I know. That's the first thing, because then once it's on the website, 2 to 3 weeks, it's order now. And these guys are beating me to the punch. Wade, admin on Kicker Club with me, he was on it first. I'm like, man, you guys are like vultures with this stuff. Like, I didn't even look yet. I mean,
I've
you gotta
seen
look
hundreds of them myself, so I know they exist. How about that?
Yeah. They are really cool looking. I remember the prototype versions of them, because that's what I saw first before the actual one. You guys had that carbon fiber cone on that, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Can't wait for an 18. Even though I love the 18 that I have now, who doesn't want more?
No, it's time to double power and double woofer.
I know. I mean, right now I'm already kind of letting her eat. I have a Warhorse on each coil, so she's doing okay. So, and I should be all right power-wise with the new L7XS, one on each coil. It should be able to just demo longer instead of like a full minute, full tilt boogie, maybe 2 minutes.
Yep.
Math is mathing.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. But so let me see. So we went already over with the Warhorse amplifier, and we already went over like what makes Kicker amplifiers, bulletproof the way they are, and like how you guys, obviously do all that stuff and test it. And I think that makes so much sense, because whenever I buy a product that's not car audio, and it's like, okay, where is that brand that's like the Kicker, where it's just, I'm paying a little bit more, but I don't have to worry about it frying, and that's the thing with like the cheaper power nowadays. It's a hit or miss, and if you don't know what you're doing, you could really burn yourself with just money out of your pocket. But let's see. I did want to go over this too, because, and I know you mentioned transients, and that's a whole nother thing, but dampening factor, and you spoke on it on one of the shows. Can you just tell me one-on-one, like, does it really make a difference? Because I feel like it's not really that word from what you said, but it's like you can tell that an amplifier has better control, or is it just because it's the enclosure and you can hear those nuances more or less compared? Because I know Bearvidge did a video on it with cheap amplifiers and that whole dampening factor, but he did it in like a fourth order wall, and I'm like, I don't think you're going to be able to hear much difference in that with something that big.
On a sub, you will never, ever, 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 ever hear dampening factor in a car. Period. It's just not possible, right? You could hear noise floor. You could hear how fast the amplifier comes back to neutral, which isn't dampening. It's actually like, so if you run an amplifier with an FFT, you'll see harmonics coming off each side of the amplifier of the main tone that you play, right?
What is the FFT? Just frequency?
FFT, RTA is car audio would use it, right? So if you play a 100 hertz note, you're going to see it kind of cascade down both sides. And if you have 1/48th or like a full FFT, which is like completely isolated, you'll see these little pegs sticking up everywhere. And the cleaner the amplifier, the less pegs and the less amplitude of the pegs you will see.
Wow.
And that is more. That function can be read in the total THD of an amplifier, but not at rated power. It's normally like 10 watts, half power, which a lot of people don't ever post, right?
Right.
And nobody ever even posts. We do in our new white sheets. I don't know if you've been to our website, but on our white sheets, we post a 50 hertz tone or a 1K tone, and it shows the harmonics so you can get a good idea of how
throughout
accurate
the power band
amplifier is. Yep.
Yes.
Well, we show a power trace too.
Okay.
But we also show an FFT where they'd be like 1K and they'll be 500 and 250 and then gone, or maybe 2K and 3K and then gone. And if you start looking at that along with the SNR and the THD are going to tell you more about how the amplifier is going to sound than anything else. The problem is most people only post 1% or 10% THD numbers, and they never show you the curve under the curve, right? Because at full power, it doesn't really matter. You're not really hearing the little stuff at that point, right?
Right.
It's loud. Like you need to look at like 10 watts, half watt, 1 watt. That's where the things where you'll be able to start seeing the difference between a well-designed amplifier and poorly designed amplifier. You'll have more transients, higher THD floored, a weird hook in the power supply, which even happens in good amps sometimes. But normally these ones will come up almost to 1% and then come back down and then go to their curve, right? So it's things like that you pay attention to if you really want to look at like what's going to be a good design. So
Big D Wiz needs an audio precision.
Yeah, probably does. I've got one right here.
You got the smaller one? Because my buddy DJ, he works with me. He has one. He's going to let me borrow it.
I've got the 515, so it's not small. They make a little like portable one, kind of. I don't have that one. I have the actual like production one.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. This is like a couple $1,000s. I know they're not cheap. It's it's not.
This one's 12. Yeah, 10 or 12.
Wow! Holy moly! Yeah, I don't know, but I do want to do a video on like the comparisons of like what they do, and it's just the audio precision is going to be able to do way more than anything that I have or the 81.
Yeah.
And, yep.
And it does take a little bit of learning curve, but once you learn it, you can make pre-done files, and then it makes life pretty easy. But in the beginning, it can be a little overwhelming. I know Drew got one, and I've heard help quite a few times in text messages already.
That's how I am even with the SPL lab, man, because it's not a one-trick pony. You can do a lot of things with it, and I'm like, okay, what is happening here? I need to do all this stuff. This is insane. I should have just got the 81, but no, once you figure it out, it's night and day, man. I'm like, yeah, you use your DD1 on your, no, I'm okay. I'll just bring out my SPL lab and perfectly set my gain, and just see everything.
I can actually see this now,
Yep, absolutely. No, I love how you went over that just with everything, because with amplifier design, there's so many more intricacies. And that's the thing with subwoofers too. it's like they're obviously complex as well. I know that's not your side of the spectrum, but it's still electrical. You know, you got voice coils.
My first job at 17 outside of car audio was rebuilding PA speakers. So I've done my plenty of speaker stuff in my day, but speakers are part science and part art, right? So there's the science part of getting the BL and the drive curve and the resistance all right. And then there's the art part of, oh, I don't like the way that cone sounds. Or I don't like how this sounds, because you can't model some of that stuff. So you have to use your experience and your brain to do the little bit of a sauce mix to get what you want. So it's always interesting on their side.
Absolutely. And you know, I feel like they got it kind of, you know, nailed down with just how speakers are supposed to sound. They were ahead of the game in the 90s, you know what I mean? More bass in a smaller space and, well, more piston area in the same surface area, you know, and it's just the name of the game. That's they got it on wrap. Plus, I mean, they're square. They're just cool, you know?
Yep.
I got to play this because we finally got you on the show here, Joe.
Because we don't want you to blow it up. So turn the gain down, Andy.
I wish you could hear it. Just turn the gain down, Andy. I love that part, man. I love it. But those KX amplifiers, and that just goes back to just how bulletproof the amplifiers are, and obviously you guys test them in field. And you know, I'm a professional with car audio, and it's like I still mess up here and there, and I still push things way further than they should. But I do that because I know what kind of product it is. If it was a $300 5K, I would not. There's no way. Like 9 volts, 10 volts, nope. She's gonna pop, and that's gonna catch a fire in the back of my car. You know, it's like, oh yeah, Warhorse at half ohm down at 8 volts till it shuts off, no problem. Like it's okay.
It happens.
Absolutely, and I know I seen Kyle do it with 16 of them at Slam, like repetitively. It's like, man, you're just trying to kill them things, but they didn't die. So either way, yeah.
Oh, the first show we brought the Bronco to, we were like, hey, we set the gains hot, right? They're hot, right? So Steve, you know, play it for a little while, let it go. Be careful with the woofers, right? Like halfway through the show, Steve goes over there, cranks it all the way up, and just walks off for about 40 minutes. And just lets it just bang for 40 minutes. And I'm just going, because to get the woofers out of the Warhorse, you have to crawl through the port, unbolt them, and drag them back out, and then recone. You know, it's a nightmare. And I'm just sitting there shaking my head, going, "Oh Lord!" But you know, it's Steve, so you just let it go.
Yeah, he was going to yell at him, you know.
Nope.
That's awesome. I know. Or do you guys plan on putting L7XSs in the Bronco?
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't talked to the guys back there. For a year or so, I've been needing to go back and turn the gain up more.
Of course.
And retune it. And I tuned it the last time. I haven't got around to tuning it again and turning the gain up. But it doesn't get out as much as it used to. So I think if, you know, with the XS is coming and, you know, stuff. So I think, yeah, probably there'll be something I would expect. But I have not talked to anybody about it.
Because you guys got, what is that on? One Warhorse on each one at one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
how it should be.
How it should be. Oh, I know that's a thing too, because it's like, you know, when you wire down lower, you know, with just how amplifiers work more efficiently at a higher impedance rise, you know, whatever, music.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like, you know, I could run one Warhorse at half ohm, but I would rather run 2 at 1 ohm because it's just, you know, they're going to be more efficient because now they're rising to 4 instead of 2. And the amplifier's more efficient there. So.
Yeah, and there's plenty of cooling. You got nothing to worry about with any of the Warhorse amps. That's, you know.
Yeah.
Normally it's always heat that kills them when you run them illegally, and they aren't going to get hot. So I'm not too worried about them, to be honest.
And that's the thing too. It's like, you know, everyone's like, oh, you know, should I run my amp at this and this and this and that? And it's like, all right, well, you should try it on a kicker amp first, just because you're going to find out if you're going to hit that per se shut off, like at least the way you guys have it set. It's safe, where it's not going to put too much current through the system.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to make sure that it's repeatedly reliable, even if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. You know, the worst thing on an amplifier long term is like we build these protections to be as loose as possible, but yet still protect the amp, right?
Right.
But just like the red line in your car, if you're hitting 7K on the car over and over and over and over and over and over,
eventually
sooner or later you're going to blow your motor up, right? And the same thing happens to an amplifier or a woofer, right? At some point, if you're hitting the red line always, and low voltage is the worst. That's the biggest one I've seen out of all the amps that we get back and you look at. Low voltage is usually the killer of them. It's not even low impedance, even though that's plays into it, but it's low voltage.
Is it because like the amplifier, obviously it's starving for the voltage, but it's trying to put out the output, and it's like, I got nothing to do. There's nothing to pull from. So how does that actually physically hurt the amplifier? Is it like the transistors, like the little parts in there?
Really depends on the amplifier. If it's a regulated amplifier, which the Warhorse is not, the amplifier will continue trying to pull more current. So then the voltage just goes lower and lower and lower as it tries to pull more current, right? And so as it tries to pull more current, it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter as it's trying to pass more current than it was designed for through those traces, because it was designed to run at 12 volts or 14 volts and not 8 volts or 9 volts, right?
Yeah.
Your current goes up exponentially. It's 30%, 40% more current. And so your FETs take more current, your power traces take more current, your transistors take more current, and sooner or later you just kill them. Now on an unregulated amplifier, the amplifier will make less power, but it still draws more current to make that less power at the lower voltage. So you have the same thing going on, just not as bad.
Not as bad as trying to make up for lost ground like the regulated ones. And I know you guys did do that on the KXA versions, and now the LX is
regulated. Yeah. Unregulated. And the big reason there, and it's our industry in a way, right? Like if you take our 1000 watt amp, put it in, and you don't have enough power and it shuts off, you take it out and you throw in a JBL amp or whatever, and it's unregulated and it works, then it's our amp's fault, right?
Right.
And no matter how much training we do, we haven't been able to ever seem to win that battle. So we finally just decided to not have that battle.
And that, I mean, it's sad, but it comes down to, the consumer, even though that they're getting rated power still at like 11 volts almost, like full power because it's the regulated version. But then, because it's dropping down at a lower voltage, we'll just say even like 10 volts, fuses are popping and they're like, what's happening here? It's the amp, but here you're still able to make that power when you really couldn't before, or any other amplifier is going to fall on its face, but it doesn't mess up the system. But that was the craziest thing. When I first got the KXA 2400, I had some AGM batteries in there, like 3 of them, stock alt, and I upgraded a high output alternator. I put a lithium in there, and I was still making the same power. And I'm like, how? How? Because I was going, instead of 12.2, I was doing 13.4s, 13.3s.
But same power because it's already making it down low. It just, you're working the amp harder, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of one of those, like, in a perfect world, regulated amps would be great.
Right.
But unfortunately, car audio is far from a perfect world.
No.
And
people push it.
We're the bang for the buck consumer brand, right? Like we want to make good, reliable product that performs really well at a reasonable price point. And if it looks bad to the consumer because they don't, because it doesn't work in their system, it looks bad. And so we just decided to kind of, we can make the best possible unregulated amps we can, and that's what we're doing. And off we go.
Yeah, and I don't see a huge difference. I mean, with the LX and the KXA, you know what I mean? It's regulated and unregulated. It still does the same to my ears.
No, but the LX has some tricks going on in it.
Okay, please do tell.
So, like somebody just asked on the side, right? One, no, the LX is unregulated. It's not regulated. KXA was regulated. The LX, we have a patent pending feature that we have in it that basically limits output power, and so 2 ohms power is quite a bit more than what you would normally have, like it normally would be, right?
Yeah.
But then at 1 ohm, we're able to get to 1% power on every amplifier about the same, and we kind of clamp it down about 10% over, so you're able to get as much power always, no matter what your battery voltage is, and without hurting anything, right? So we're just trying to get you huge dynamic power, which is what they'll do. I don't know if anybody's really ran a bunch of LXs on the amp dyno yet, but they make huge dynamic power and very, very a lot of headroom, right? So when you have that impact of that bass kick, there's a ton of headroom there, so you're getting a lot more power than what you think you are for a little bit of time because of the way they're designed.
So like the governor per se isn't kicking in for those dynamics, so you don't lose the clarity of what you would normally have, but yet still safe.
Yeah. So if you go from doing a kick drum to playing put on, right?
Yeah.
We'll clamp you down to, your 3,400, 3,800 watts and hold you there on a 3001. But if you had a bass drum kick, right, and you looked at like a scope and watched the peak, you'll notice the peak is quite a bit higher.
Yeah, because I think whenever I dynoed mine, I was even having calibration issues, but it was still doing like that 34, and then I was able to get like 38, 39 on a dynamic burst, just real fast.
Yeah.
And, the way I was looking at it, though, I'm like, it doesn't do as much as the KX, because if you look at Derek's older videos, did like 45, but that's where the Warhorse is. So, like, you put it between the CX-1800 and the Warhorse. It has its own spot, plus with all the features that the LX amplifier has. Did you think all those by yourself, or I know you got a whole crew there?
No. The big idea was kind of the main, and then Fernando, the designer of it, came up with the others. Like, he wanted to make them as small as possible. That's why on the stereo amplifiers, the LXCC is separate, right?
Yeah.
That was his. He's like, I can't get all these knobs and crossovers on here. It's going to have to grow 4 inches. I don't want to grow it 4 inches. Can I make this external thing, right? And so we all said, yeah, and went that route. And so you got something kind of unique and different with a removable front end for if you're using DSP, you can just plug into it and go, right?
Right. Now, that thing's awesome. I know a lot of guys, even myself, if I get the 4-channel, will be like, I could run that up on the dash. It'll look pretty cool because, it's just, I like things on the fly. I mean, even though that I'm like tuning my mids and highs, but it's like, okay, I'm going to play a different song and I'm going to double crossover, which I shouldn't do. But for whenever I want to listen to some oldies and stuff in Cookie Monster, I don't need my crossovers so high. I'm going to pull them down a little bit. And I think that would make sense for that because that does do the crossover selection on there as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I mean, I'm not an SQ guy, I know it's going to mess up my time alignment, my phasing, but to me, it's just like what sounds clear,
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Clint Taylor, for subscribing. Appreciate you guys. I know we had a lot of good questions in the comment feed. Let's try to get to a few of them. We're on a roll, Joe. We got to bring you on again, man. I knew this was going to happen, though.
Every time I do kicker unmasked, we're there way too long. They're like, guys, get off the
90 minutes ish. That's a kicker thing.
Talking.
Yeah. I can't. Now I know this is more of a subwoofer question, but this is a question I hear a lot, and I want to hear your input on it. Thank you, Matthew. Joe, can you explain the differences, pros and cons, of wiring 2 dual voice coil woofers in series parallel versus parallel series?
Well, the only drawback to one way versus the other is anytime you go through a voice coil, in one side, out the other, right? The final impedance is still the same. But when you're playing AC energy through it, that coil is eating up a little bit of that energy before it gets to the next one. And if you may have noticed this, if you've done a bunch of this, the first woofer in the path is normally the one that gets blown up.
Yep.
Right? And then the other ones are still good. Well, that's because the first one got 5% more power than the second one, and that one got 5% less power than the third one, right? Even though they're wired in that configuration. So I usually try to make sure that it's like, do the voice coils in series, keep the woofers in a parallel configuration if you can, right? To where everything's running through everything if you can. But I mean, it's so little, but it's when you get on that edge that it makes a difference.
Right, when you're pushing it to full tilt boogie mode, it's going to make a difference. That's crazy. It's actually like off. It's almost like the phase is 5% off or something like that. And that's going to be bad on the system, like everything.
Everything. And so it's one of those things, it's like, well, it's just a little bit of energy, but it's a little bit of energy here, and it's a little bit of energy at this connection, and it's a little bit of energy at this connection. Just like when you make a power run, right? If you run 17 feet, make a connection, put a fuse there, go to the other side, and then pull 100 amps, measure the voltage at this side of the fuse and this side of the fuse, and then up at the front of the run, right? Your voltage is going to be different at each spot. Because the fuse is a resistor and the wire is a resistor, right?
So is that why everybody's using zero gauge as their speaker wire?
Yep. Yes, it is. Yes, team no fuse.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. That's crazy. I didn't even think of like resistance drops, but I've always heard that too. And the thing that I heard was not for that explanation. I'm glad we asked you. Was for like, is it inductance or whatever? Not whatever. Just because of like higher BL or whatever. I don't know. Just because they're in series versus parallel, and just how that function works.
It does change stuff a little bit. I haven't ever seen that to be enough when I measure it to really care.
Yeah.
The real world wise is just the first woofer blows up if you wire it up that way, right? And I would prefer not to toss a woofer. I try not to.
Yeah.
I do every once in a while still. I was a bass head kid growing up, right? Totally. And so, my truck still has 3 tins under the seat, right? It's not like it's
I was going to ask, what's the current build? What's the first build? What do you got right now? 3 tins?
So right now it's 3 tins firing down. The first build was 4 tins firing down.
Is this in the truck?
US 10, in the truck. 2-inch seat lift.
Nice.
2000. Well, currently it's a 3001 on the subs, and a bunch of 504 LXs on all the mids.
Screaming.
Next build will be something new and different here in a couple weeks that we'll show next year. So
nice. So that's what you took to SQ at HQ.
Yeah.
3 10-inch Qs, the new ones?
Firing down. Yeah, and then KS is in the front doors, and then some AMT tweeters, air motion tweeters, and some really slim 5 1/4s from from Peerless, because I have kind of a unique setup on my dash that I'm testing right now.
Okay.
My truck changes about every 8-9 months.
That's crazy. As soon as you started naming other brands, I'm like, oh no, Steve didn't fire you? Because I know, fire for less, you got to run all kicker equipment. But you're testing things and seeing what other products do too, and that's what you have to do.
Yeah, I try to stay. I grew up like I was. I started in car audio when I was 15. Before that, I was already doing installs for my older brother's friends.
Oh wow!
And so I've been in car audio my whole life, one way or the other, right? Whether it was installs, shop manager, training, future shop, whatever it was through the years, right? Like everything's always been car audio.
That's awesome.
No, we haven't talked about the VXA amps yet.
Yeah.
They're not coming to the U.S., so do we need to talk about them?
They are cool. I know you guys had another version too, or I know you have a bunch, but just overseas, like the Europe versions of stuff. And it is crazy how it's just there, though. It's like you want something you can't have,
it is interesting, right? So, like, different markets have different feature requests. Like over here, very few people take a CXA 364 and bridge the rear channels to run a sub.
Right.
Like, that's not really an American choice. But in Europe and overseas, that's like every day. So, so the features are different. The customer base is a little bit different. And so what they're really looking for at different features is different, right? And so that's why the VXA got made. And it is completely new, right? So, like, it's ground up new. It's not a redo of a CXA. It's nothing. It's a complete new design. And they're pretty nice little amps for what they are. I kind of like the gold. That was a new attempt.
I like that a lot. Go good with the gold letters, just saying.
Yeah, came out pretty well. Yeah, they are in Canada, so I'm sure they'll end up here a little bit. But
so they might come to the States. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's definitely a wink right there. Now
you got a Canadian friend? Just order one, I guess.
I got a few. I do have a few.
So, I bet you do.
Yeah,
I bet you do. And so, just like we have the KPX amps and the PXA amps, right? The PX AX amps are fully waterproof. They're casted. They're heavier. The KPX amps are more designed like a key amplifier. They're water resistant, but they, but they're both for that same application, right? For a different customer base. The guys with the side-by-side that are syncing it, need the PXA amps. The guys for a Harley that just needed to be able to get wet under the fairing, right? Don't need a PXA amp, but the PXA amps are big because of that heat sink and waterproofing that happens to them. So you kind of end up with these separation of states, even though they're very similar. They're separated by application or location, right? And that's what the PXA or that VXA is, right? It's location instead of application.
That's crazy. Something you don't think about, but working at a company, you hear and see these things every day. No, that's awesome though. And I know, yeah, the waterproof ones, that's the one you guys had in the fish tank forever, the PXA. Those are pretty cool.
Forever. Yeah. Forever in that fish tank.
Yeah. Let's see here. More questions. Okay, so we did the VXA amp. Okay, you might be able to answer this question. Matt's got another question. I know you guys are filling up the comments. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Just having awesome guests, and it's hard doing both, like comments and interviewing guests. We don't have Colin in the background throwing them up. What's the difference in depth of the L7X18 versus the XS18? Yeah, like the mounting depth, I guess. Yeah,
it is definitely deeper, but I couldn't tell you the difference. I think they're on the website, so you can get the actual cutout for the new X's now. I think it's up there.
Let me see. I know they have the 12 and the 15, but not the 18 yet.
Yeah,
it's
probably
just 12.
not the 18 yet. Yeah.
Yep. Gotta wait for that one.
They are going to be deeper.
I know. I specifically made a new box for the L7X18 because there was talks about a different type that was going to be a little bit taller way back when. So I made a whole deeper box, like 17 inches deep. The other one was only like 14, I'm like, that's going to be close. So now that new one's coming, the new one, the XS18, I still got plenty of space to go. So yeah, just something to note whenever building boxes and fitting them in your car. Maybe the 18 isn't, super necessary. Go with 212s or 15. I just did because
they get pretty deep.
Yeah,
they get pretty deep quick. Yeah.
Really big, good woofers though, man. I'm excited. I keep forgetting. It's like I'm so like looking at like the bait of like the XS18, but it's like I got the L7X18 that we didn't have Slamology for the past almost 2 years. I finally get to give demos at Slam with the X18. I did some local shows, and we had some fun. I did blow one up, but it was full tilt boogie, and like I knew it was probably going to happen. I smelt coil over and over. I was giving demo after demo, and then I was just enjoying the song. And then it got a little quieter. So what do? You turn it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you're running almost 9,000 watts probably.
Yeah. I'm clamping 46. I am clamping 46 to that. It's taking it, not forever, obviously, but whenever it's full rip, man, it's eaten. That's why I'm just like, dude, this thing is so much better than the old 18, like night and day. There's no, for just output, no comparison. And then to have something that's even more is insane too. And that's why I spoke about it last Tuesday of the purpose with the XS18. For me, it's like, man, I'm not putting another 18 in my car. I don't got space, but something that can handle more power and move more air, the XS makes sense. For me, at least. I don't know about you. I know with the 310 down firing being at the SQHQ, I don't know if the Solo X is your flavor.
Well, that the ultimate sub for HQ stuff is infinite baffle, right?
Yeah.
It only means 15 or 18 infinite baffled somewhere. I don't have a lot of places to put that.
No.
Not without cutting a big hole somewhere into the bed of the truck or into the floor of the truck, right?
Yeah, so you might as well do a blow through at that point, and then it's not even a truck anymore. Not even a truck.
No. Nope.
That's the thing. Whenever our friend Bubba, he had 2 comp R12s down firing, sounded really good, and then he went to like 4.8s, and he was like, and they were forward firing, port to the side. He's like, man, it's not as good. I'm like, dude, down firing is where it's at for like trucks, man.
You
it's
get
just
some coupling.
Yes.
Have you tried your car down firing out of question?
No. I've thought about flipping the port around. I've seen some other guys do that, but I'm like, loading. I don't know. I like that port back there. Down firing in my car. You think it would actually work?
I had 3 Eclipse GSXs with probably 20 different sub boxes, and the loudest one by far that played the deepest.
Down firing.
2.5 inches off the floor. Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Far, not even close. There wasn't anything even close.
That's probably because of cancellation. It probably eliminates it.
Couples, yeah, it is. It blew my mind. It was like, holy crap! Like, nope.
I got an old Cookie Monster box, and I can put some raised lifts on it. Yeah, and just flip it. I'm gonna have to make sure that the mounting bolts. I'm gonna have to mount bolt it rather than just screw it in, because it's gonna be hanging rather than sitting in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It'd be interesting to test in your car, because it was at least 2.5 dB louder than mine.
That's a significant difference. I know with how much vehicle it's taking up, it acts funny. You know, it acts kind of like a 6-order in a lot of ways, and just loading property. So I think that's insane, Joe. I'm not going to try it before Slam, but like...
You should think about it, though.
Yes.
Think about it.
Yes, I will definitely think about it. I love downfiring enclosures, man. They're tickling my fancy here.
They get at it.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. No after party tonight. I'm going to go help out John. He's like you were talking earlier. He's still working on Cookie Monster. I'm putting in front speakers so I can be obnoxious outside the car as inside the car too. Those the Marine 6.5 KXMLs, you know, the ones with the compression tweeters. Yeah, those things are awesome.
Those things, yeah.
Yeah,
they'll make your ears bleed.
That's why they're outside the car, you know. So I'll have like on an own little bass knob, turn it on when I want, you know, and just. Yeah, I got to keep up with the guys at Slam. Have you seen Steve Barber's? He's got his lined up all around the entire car.
I brought it to Kicker and demoed it. It was impressive. Yeah. It was really impressive.
Absolutely.
John Myers just recently did this big fancy boat, and he had 4 of those mounted in the cans up above, and then 8 or 10 of our 8-inch coaxes, 3 of our free air subs, and a ton of KMA power. The first time I've been in a boat and been punched in the chest.
Wow.
It was impressive. I'm like, okay, all right, this is cool.
Yeah.
And the horns, like I couldn't take them. I had to go up front. I was like, never mind, those are so loud. Like they're great for like the back party. Like if you're just swimming in the water or skiing. Yeah. It's just too much for me. I can't take it.
No, I mean, your ears are so sensitive at those higher frequencies and just the compression horns. I mean, it's not that they're bad because there's loud that hurts and there's loud that's distortion hurts.
Oh, no, they sound good. They're just too loud for me.
Too loud. Let me look that up on my phone. I don't know what that means.
when the treble gets too loud, there is a too loud on the treble side for me.
That's it.
I'm like, okay, I'm done. Yep.
That's what I try to tell everybody when they get in my car and they're like, how are you not deaf from this? First I say, what? But then I'm like, seriously, it's not the bass. It's going to be the mids and highs that are going to do damage to your ears first.
And screech, right? If they're screechy,
yep.
Like nails on a chalkboard, sooner or later you're going to not be hearing anything.
You're toast. I know when I have 2 7s, 2 9s, and then 2 1s and 1.5s super tweeters, but I actually just disconnected the ones that were on the dash. 1, the reflection was terrible, and then 2, it was too much. I'm like, I'm gonna go deaf. I'm in this little car. I don't need 10,000 hertz at 140 dB. I just don't need it.
No, it only takes 10 watts to get there, so you don't need it.
I know. I own channel and everything. 50 watts. Oh, they were screaming too much.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time everybody heard it too. It slammed. They're like, it's loud, but holy moly! I'm like, yeah, it's a little much. So yeah, we downsized just a little bit.
Yeah, upsize the bass, downsize the treble.
That's
it.
Better. I know it's such a better blend now, and that's the thing I always strive to do in a system that is, you know, it's a system, right? Like Cookie Monster is a system. When I had the quad box, that was a system. But like my dad's car is not. It's just a 15 on stock JBL system. So it is what it is. It's lacking here and there. But like with that, it's like, dude, I love it because it's like, yes, I play a lot of wasted information. It's not this SQ build, but you can hear what you're supposed to hear. You know, it's like nothing is getting drowned out or there's not enough bass. Because I feel like the Solo X18, when I put all the Street Series in there, it was nice, but it was just too much. I needed more bass. So thank you guys for making a new one.
You know, we kind of talk a lot. The SQ guys don't like bass, but if you look at the curves that they're running, it's like 20 to 25 dB up at 20 hertz.
Oh yeah, because
it ramps down to like 300 hertz, and then goes across at whatever curve they want. But all the bass is up 25 dB, which is a ton.
Yeah.
Right. It's just not the type of bass that we run in the real world, right?
No, movie theater bass right there, just the rumbles and the what have yous. Or maybe they're just trying to do some hair tricks with their downfiring enclosures, you know? I mean, I might be the first guy to do a hair trick with a downfiring enclosure, you know?
There you go. Go. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Oh, Joe, I will definitely try it. Now it's like, oh, man.
Now I'm curious if your Eclipse has the same type of coupling mine did, right? I'm like,
how far forward was your box? Did it take up the whole car like mine? Because that's the only thing I'm worried about. But I still feel like it's going to work.
There was really no back seat in the 98 Eclipses, but mine
No.
took up behind. It was behind the seat, and the amps were on the seat, right? So
Okay.
there was probably 8 inches between my back, my sitting position, and
The
where the
box.
sub stopped.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's pretty much the same. I mean, I got a little less space, but same concept
Yeah.
of air going around. It's kind of in
Yeah.
the middle of the car. I know, because
Yeah.
what I did recently this year, and it made a huge difference, even on the meter, it was like a whole dB. And I think it was because of the box rocking. Yeah, I had it bolted down, but it was like literally lifting the whole floor. So I have floor jacks, twisted floor jacks, just pushing from the ceiling down to the box and making it one solid.
So it doesn't move.
Yep, so it don't move. And it's like, oh man, now that sounds good. It's got a little bit more punch to it.
Got a little louder.
Yeah, just
That
a little
matters,
bit.
right?
That's it.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in, Kibo. Appreciate you guys. Joe is the man. Man, you guys are awesome tonight. Let's see. Yes, Sean. Yes, absolutely. Can you full range or HP the CX monos?
No, they are low. They are low pass only because of the switching frequency is lower.
Okay.
So the Class D switching frequency is low enough that if we made them full range, they'd only play out to probably like 5K. And so we just clamp them at the edge of our crossover at like 250 hertz.
I was going to say, so the switching, because you don't need it to play higher frequencies, why make it switch at a faster rate, making it cost
but
more?
there's some. It doesn't really cost more. Makes for more radiated noise, so you got to fight a little harder to pass EMC testing for other countries.
Oh,
You know, we don't really have that here, but we have it everywhere else.
okay.
There are a bunch of European brands that are running full range Class D because they're using a 2092, I think, or 2093, so they can switch faster. And then so they just run them full range, and that's how they pitch them.
Wow.
Right? So that's becoming a little bit more of a question.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I'm glad I threw that question up, man. Thank you, Pro Install. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, because they already have the 4-channel. I didn't think there was anything more to that than that, but that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a couple of the high-end guys talking about running one 400-watt mono amp on each tweeter, each mid, each to get the best separation between all your amplifiers, right?
Oh,
So,
God. You don't want, what is it,
Yeah.
the crosstalk they don't want or something?
Yeah. The 60 or 75 dB of low crosstalk
Aw.
that you can't hear when you're playing 120 dB, right? Type of thing. But yeah.
I think those guys are just hearing things like seeing dead people. They just they hear things that just maybe aren't there.
Yeah.
half it's placebo.
The SQ world is interesting. Like I competed in it this weekend. I have a few times.
Yeah. How did that go?
Every org is different. I took third. Took third in unlimited and mask, so I was competing against like the trailer queen car type of things.
Yeah.
That was
Big
all
boy
right.
class. Yeah. Wonder why they put you in a bigger class. Did you have like speakers that came out too far?
I have 5 1/4s on the dash, so anything over a 4 puts you in that class for mask.
Wow.
And that's the weird thing. So I designed my truck for Iasca because you can put a 5 1/4 up there.
Yeah.
And be in Pro 1, which makes sense, right? I work for a company, Pro 1. Okay, fine. That totally makes sense. So some of the brakes are weird. They don't all match, right? So they're all their own entities. And so I end up in different places in each org because of it. So
Wow.
it's interesting. Brandon won one and took second in another. Jacob won one, took second twice in 2 others. Like everybody placed in 1 or 2, did pretty good.
Yeah. How many
a fun
competitors?
event.
How many competitors were there? Like a crap ton, I would guess.
For SQ event, there was a crap ton. We had 11 in my Pro 1 group,
Woo.
which I think was the most. There had to be 40 or 50 cars
Wow.
competing that day, and
That's
it
a
was
lot.
big.
That is a
Yeah.
lot. Because
And
I
they
know
came
the
from a
SQ
ways
shows
away,
around
so-
us, it's like there's like the same 4 guys, other
Yeah,
than going
yeah.
to Worlds for Mecca. So that's huge. That's awesome.
So it was cool, and the reception was good, and everybody was great. Dinner the night before was awesome. We had like 60 people. It was cool. I hope we continue to do it because it's something I think we should be involved with. And I look to, if I could find a long bed running truck that I could literally build an SPL vehicle in and then raffle away the year after, I would love to build an SPL vehicle, right? So I've been looking for one for a year now, trying to find something. I have a certain type of enclosure I want to build, so I have a certain type of vehicle I need. So you see one laying around that's cheap, let me know.
We'll do. I know that's the thing too, is like picking the perfect vehicle for sound quality, for bass, for what you're trying to do, and just everything in the middle. I just always used what I had, you know. Now it's like, okay, I got this Pilot SUV sitting here. Finally, I got space to do something if I want to go big on it. But I did have to throw this up here. We had Kicker Car. I forgot to even roll the video for the 50 Green Team gifted memberships.
All right,
John, I got your question. He pushed that one, I think.
Open your boxes. Right. You get a Green Team membership. You get a membership. A membership. You all get a Green Team membership.
Poor Joe doesn't hear the audio. We have like technical difficulty, so he's gonna have to rewatch this with all the sounds, you know. But he gets the point. And then Kicker Car just now $2. But you know what? We're playing this one twice for $2
Because we don't want you to blow it up. So turn the gain down, Andy.
Turn it down. I just love it. I love it. There
Because we don't want you to blow it up. So turn the gain down, Andy.
Depth difference in the Solo X18 and the XS18. I think that's what we were trying to figure out earlier, and we don't know. We don't know on that one.
I mean, we probably know, but I'll have to go ask.
Okay. If you were to guess, would it be like 6 or 7 inches or like 3 inches?
I would bet it's 3 or 4 would be my guess.
3 or 4. Yeah, because I know with Steve Barber putting up his 15 compared to the old 15, it was like, I think the bottom of the bottom plate, or the top plate, bottom of the basket was as tall as the other surround. So and the surround's about like 2 inches on the 15. So probably, yeah, I'd say 3, 4. Yeah, that's a good educated guess. And that's the thing too. It's like with just mounting depth differences, and then with enclosure differences too. I know you guys did. It's a tough question. I know you guys did recommend you can run the XS 12 in the unloaded enclosures, correct? Just like the X.
Yeah, I think that'll be the same across all the preloaded enclosures, but there's not a ton of them for these, right?
Yeah.
They'll both work in the same thing. Obviously, bigger is louder, but you know.
Yeah.
I've heard our 212 enclosure, and it gets at it. So as long as you have the power, it'll do it. But you know, bigger is also going to get you more. So
I call that the King box because it's like a quad box, but for the King subwoofers, you know.
Yep.
And
yeah.
Yeah, I got to hear that prototype with in Chase's car whenever I came there last. I know I need to come down and see you guys and check out all the new gizmos you guys got going on.
Yeah, it's been a while. You need to come stop by.
Yes.
Everybody's always invited, right? So
they're like, he got married and never came back. What the heck? You know?
Use us for our venue, and then you just don't show back up.
I know. Oh man, sorry, bad date. We'll be back. We will be back. Wade, T-line. I like T-lines. I've never done one. I actually have a very special guest coming on next Kicking It with Andy that is a pro with T-lines. What's your experience with T-lines? Any?
A little, not a lot. I've actually got a box design that I did for an SPL comp back in the way that's kind of a T-line, but also kind of a ported enclosure tied together. That worked fairly well back then. So I'd like to try it now with a Solo XS18. So I said I'm looking for a long bed truck.
Yeah. 8-footer for sure. I had a Toyota. I did give my big truck away, but it was just... It needed body work, and the guy I gave it to, he actually works with me, and he does great body work, and nice. Headache out of my life. So
nice.
Good. Yeah,
I'm looking for that like $1,500. It runs, it drives. You know, not too much rust. Hopefully, with the interior's trash. Don't care.
Don't look up at PA. Everything's rust.
Yeah, interior's gonna be trashed anyways, right? Let's be honest. So.
Yeah, you're ripping it out anyway. You got to put all the sound dampening down there, and just you're good to go.
Ripping it up. Yeah.
Yep.
So don't care about that, right?
No. As long as it works.
I'll find something at some point here. I got to get. My wife's like, we don't need another car, and I'm like, well, it's not really a car to drive.
You ain't driving this one. Sorry. You got to wait for the next one. I can't. All right. I got one question. John here. Will you follow up with Andy another day about your Eclipse downfiring experience? You may have accidentally activated an important side quest. Talk about yes. Yes.
So I had everything from an 18 firing up ported back to 412s firing down sealed to 8/8s firing up ported, 410s ported, bunch of different ones. In the end, to be honest, the loudest box was 4 Eclipse, those long drive 12s back in the day that had the Brahma technologies in it, the EBR stuff. Firing down about 2.5 inches off the floor, coupled rear, so the front wave was blocked. Everything had to go back, around, and up.
Yeah.
And that was by far louder than anything else that I had in that car, which was very disappointing because I really wanted that Fosgate 18 back in the day to be the winner, but it was not.
Damn. Sometimes it's just, box design, speaker choice, and putting them together and figuring out which
Getting
works.
in the right list. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what I use our QB8 for now. I have a QB8 in a single little tin box, and when we get into somebody's car, I'm building the box for, I'm like, back, up, down. It's got legs on it, so I can move it all the way around. I measure with my REW and sit there and go, which one gets me the best? Yeah, XBL, that was the name of the technology. There you go, XBL2. Yep.
Wow.
Where they wind the voice coil thicker on the top and the bottom and thinner in the middle, so it has the same drive all the way through the coil stroke. Yeah.
That's insane. Does it
so
now?
Yeah, so I actually pre-do that in all the cars that I build nowadays, but most of the stuff I build is pretty on the high end. Like, I'm not doing too many, little builds.
Yeah. Well, whenever you call Joe, it's a big job. It's a big job.
Well, yeah, it's normally my friends are like, hey, and I know them. They're like, it's the guy that it's never loud enough for, right? No matter what anybody does, or it's the guy that wants the sound quality to be perfect, right? So
Yeah.
I only do stuff for like about 6 people at this point, and when they call, it's like the checkbook has to be open because we're probably doing something stupid in the end. Let's be honest.
Time is money, man. It really is. Yeah, I don't mind definitely diagnosing things. I'm like, oh yeah, pull your system down. I'll see what's wrong with it. But like the entire install, start to finish, it's like, man, I know guys that can do that for you. And then if you want something special, I got you. You know what I mean? Or I know the guy that can do that. And
Yep.
Absolutely.
Somebody just said, let's talk Credence or Audio Art. That's hilarious.
There's Kicker Car. Now, Audio Art, is that the amplifiers? Is that what he's talking about?
Audio Art was an amplifier brand from the factory that we partnered with almost 20 years ago when we started making amplifiers in China.
Was that the Steve Irby edition or before that?
It was Steve Irby edition.
Okay.
Then when we decided to move from making them in-house when we did them, which was, if you ask Jay, the best day ever, when we decided not to do them anymore because they were nightmares.
No.
And when we started moving them overseas, Audio Art, the people that made Audio Art made our CX amps, right? So,
wow.
And then we started building an engineering team to be bigger, to start supporting stuff, right? But they helped design and do a lot of those early amps, Audio Art did. And then Credence, of course, is who made our woofers for a while until quality problems popped up too bad.
Wow. So this was all like original Kicker stuff, because you can't just go in the gate knowing how to do everything. You almost got to have help.
You got to learn it, right?
Yes.
And go through it. And we started out using. Steve really started out in the beginning using Motorola tweeters and
for the
caboose drivers
for the ass kicker. Yeah.
Yep. And for those first few enclosures, that's what they were, right? Until he started, reading up on speaker design and learning how to do speaker design and going, okay, I need these to be different, right? Then we started using Credence, and I think even the other guys that made Eminence, the pro audio companies, to make some drivers for many years, and unfortunately had multiple problems over and over. Where you get an order in and got half of them bad, right?
Wow.
And so things just kind of moved to where they have moved at this point, and we've got some very, very good vendors that have been with us for a long time. A couple of them that only build for us because we're their whole customer base and they don't need to go anywhere else. And so we built technology and reliability over years of making designs better, making production processes better, and
here you are now.
Kind of move forward. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, Kicker Car must know something, or you? Well, did you tell him this weekend, or he just knows that because he's an OG?
I don't know. I don't know who Kicker Car is. So.
Oh yeah, you sure about that?
Well, I might know who he is, but I don't know.
Yeah. John.
Name,
yeah,
right?
he was.
Is that Myers?
No, not Myers. We got Myers too. Yeah, you'll see his Mustang. You know, John. He loves his Mustang.
Okay.
It'd be on the profile there. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, that's a really cool story, and it's like
Mohawks.
I think I know enough about Kicker, and it's like there's always more to learn, and that's why I love having this show, and I love what you guys do on Unmasked too. This is just like the great value edition Kicker Unmasked. That's it. Let's see. So I started to pull the winners for the giveaway. I do need to type those in there. Let's see if there's any other comments before I start to work on stuff.
Oh, you gave me a Kicker Cook. I know who he is then.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I got that on my desk.
That's Kicker Car.
He did hear all about most of that stuff this weekend, probably.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say, like, that's some inside information right there. It really is.
Parked right next to us most of the day,
Yeah. Well, that's how it is with YouTube. It's like, what's your name on YouTube and what's your name on Facebook, and putting the two together. It's like, I know you as Coronut. What's your name again? It's funny. Let's see, Uncle Bobby B. Yes, okay, so Sean had a question here earlier. Wanted to ask Joe which Class D controllers being used in the LX series.
So it depends on whether it's a sub amp or a full change amp. 2092s and 2093s.
2092, 2093. Hear that? Because it sounds like Japanese to me. Yep, sure, sounds
it's just
good.
Part numbers. The controllers don't matter all that much, to be honest, although there's some differences. Some controllers can use feed forward or feedback design. Some controllers can go faster than others, which is why you would be able to make a mono amp go full range, right? If you put the faster controller in it, you could up clock, and so you could play up to 20 kilohertz with the sub amp.
Is up clock like overclock?
Well, you pick clocking speeds, right? So kind of the same thing. You're just going, instead of running at 96 kilohertz, I'm going to run at 186. Like
that's
same
switch
type
speed.
of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, switching speed, right? And we just don't see a big customer base wanting to use our sub amps full range. But if people start asking, maybe we'll change that. But
right. I know, and that's the whole thing too with Class D, and back in like the 2000s or even before that, with how mono or Class D was like, it can't sound as good because it couldn't because of the switching technology. But now we're able to switch so much faster.
Class Ds can play out to like 80K at this point.
Yeah. And I can't hear over like 15,000. I mean, on a good day, Yeah.
Exactly.
Good enough.
And for those guys talking about the Mohawk out there, we gave the brand to one of our distributors way back in the day, and they are still making and selling Mohawk.
What?
So yes, you can still find it out there.
I thought that was like a 2-year thing, like the gold letters, just a couple of years and then gonzo.
We made it for like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And they decided we didn't really want a lower end brand, right? And so, but one of our distributors was doing a really good job with it overseas. And so we just signed over the name to them and let them keep running with it.
Wow, that's insane. I'm going to have to go buy a pair. So you guys still make them, or they just bought the name and just make them?
No, they have the name. We have nothing to do with it at this point.
Wow, that's cool though. That's cool.
And that's been like 25 years or something. We haven't had much to do with it a long time.
It would be good. It would be a good video. Now I have to get the original Mohawks. I still need to do my gold comparison video, just life and we're here.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a replacement for the Q class components? And I know L7Q. I'm going to throw that one in there too. What's going on here, Joe?
I'll just say, be patient.
Be patient. That's what I try to tell them. They're always working. They're always listening to you guys. And you brought back the original round comp Q. Why not? For how successful the square was, and then you want to have the matching components. You know, you
There'll
need
be
that.
some revision of all that stuff, is what I will say, but it might not be what you expect, or it might be what you expect. I don't know.
Ooh.
Right.
Okay.
So
Tea. Tastes good. You know, I'm always excited for new stuff you guys having coming down the line. I never personally own the Q class components or coaxials or whatever components, but I've heard them, and I love the KS so much. It's like I don't think I would need that next step other than matching. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's blue. You know what I mean? And it works. And it goes with the Q Class 12 that I have or something like that. Now, I'm sure there are some sound signature differences too, man. Now, we could do this live stream for like 4 hours. I swear. I had Kip on here
there are,
4 hours.
We had, so this weekend, one of the guys that's a buddy of Brandon's and was competing, kind of, you know, hanging out with us, blew up his high-end speakers the night before the show.
Ooh.
So I had to go find some in the warehouse at 10:30 at night and get him a replacement. And he took first in one class and second with another, running KS 4.5 as his main speaker.
Jeez.
So, you know, they can't sound that bad.
No. And even on low power too, you know, you hook it up to just your radio and they just sound good. A lot of speakers, you know, I feel like they need a lot of power to do something, or they're just so efficient they don't really need more power. Head unit power is enough. And I've learned those lessons both in two different ways, but absolutely. All right. You can read the comments. You can click on them too on your side. If you see something good, throw it up, talk about it. I'm going to type in these names while you do that. Yeah.
Let's see here.
At least something works.
I'm not going to answer the half home thing because everybody already has.
Yeah, that is pretty big. I got to change that link to the other link. It's like Wombo size. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Where's all my names at? There we are.
My God.
Okay.
Let's see.
Third place. Yeah, if you guys got any questions for Joe, drop them now. He's looking at it.
There's one. Are the IQ amplifiers dead? Yes, the IQ amplifiers are dead. They were probably too early. I probably agree with that. A lot of the shops didn't even have a computer at that point, which blew my mind because how did they do remote starts? But
The IQ amplifiers.
there will be new stuff coming out for people to play with. I will just say that.
Oh. I know, I just got my IQ back from you guys. It's remanufactured, you know. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I blew up on low voltage. Sorry. I had a quad box in the car.
Those are regulated too.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oops. I mean, I was seeing 8.8 on a regular basis. When I would compete, they thought that I was ramping up the bass knob. No. I only had two JYNXT little tiny hybrid batteries in there, and it was just dropping down and shutting off, coming on, shutting off, coming on, just to get a number, you know. And I had the Q class in there, and then one day it just didn't turn on. I'm like, what happened? Whoops.
Regulated amplifier kept trying to make too much power. Yeah.
Yep.
And those are regulated, so yeah, those should
That's
definitely
crazy.
have good power going to them.
Did not know that.
One guy talked about some other chips that, like, Infineon has some Class D chips, and there's some other stuff like that. Yeah, Infineon has made some new, basically monolithic amplifiers that are multi-channel in the mono design, so it's like 4 mono amps built into a monolithic or the single. They're not real Class D controllers. They're actually Class D amplifiers. There's some Class D amplifiers in the chips now that literally have no output filter, or the output filter is so small it doesn't even look like an output filter. So the inductor is basically SMT chipset. So
Wow.
there's some stuff like that. But really everybody. So there's really 3 ways to make a Class D amplifier, right? Like a 2092, which is no feedback Class D amplifier. 2093 feedback amplifier. There's 2 other chips that can be used for more channels or different temperature ranges. I can't remember the part number names off the top of my head. And then there's self-oscillating Class D, which we have a couple of those too, which means there is no IRS chipset in them, and there's a circuit in there that does self-oscillating.
Oh, wow.
that that is made by us. So that's kind of really the main things. Ways to make a Class D amp. Slew rates are important.
I've heard of that. What is that?
At this point, most Class D amps it's how fast the amplifier can switch the FET.
Ooh.
Right? So when the FET kicks on and off, how hard are you pulling it on and off, and how fast do you respond to the change in the transient coming into the FET? Okay. That all becomes into your slew rate, right? As the voltage changes, like how fast do you follow that change? So if you put a scope on the signal coming into that circuit and the output of the amplifier, right? How far are they away from each other? And that would be your slew rate, right?
Wow.
Most Class D amps
sense.
at this point are really fast.
Yeah. They'd have to be.
But there's still some cheap designs out there that don't perform great. But in general, Class D's gotten fast enough now that slew rate's so fast that you really can't hear it in most cases.
Wow. That's probably why it falls back to just, generally speaking, Class D just works for full range just because of the switching so fast. And with those slew rates, to me, just guessing, it almost sounds like the accuracy of just how quick to back forth, without having slop on each end.
Well,
is that kind of like what you're explaining?
A little bit, but it's the same argument that people have about like high res, right? Can you hear 192? Like, do you need 48 kilohertz samples or 96 kilohertz samples a second, right? Like, how many samples do you need? 24, 32? And what you start seeing is like, if you zoom into a curve of a sine wave, right?
Yeah.
With anything more than like 16 bits, you really can't see the steps. But if so there's always a limit to where like it becomes, are you getting a lot for what you're getting back, right?
Yeah.
So like most stuff's 24 at this point. 48 kilohertz, like a CD, basically, like it's plenty good, right? You go over that, all you're doing is adding more samples into that step in the digital converter.
I've heard of the bit with like microphones and stuff, like a 24, it's just better. 30 or something like that too, I think it was. Maybe it was just 24 for my Rode, the Rode microphone. But no, even with just music and stuff, right, when you're streaming it and what have you. And then also, what are you listening to it on? Open back earphones or, AirPods.
Are you driving a car, or the car running, right? Because you need AC in the South.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to hear some of that stuff, right? But you can measure it, right? We can measure a bunch of things, but doesn't mean you can hear them.
No.
Comp R versus Comp Q, it's almost 1.5 inches, I think, on the 10s. So it's quite a bit of difference.
Wow.
Depth, mounting depth.
Okay.
The Class Q 10s, I think, are right at like 5 3/4, or a little bit over that, if I remember right. They're fairly deep.
Wow. Yeah, because it's got more excursion and a longer winding height than anything else below that, other than like, I think, does it still have more than the L7S10? Like, it's got
Yep.
So maybe
it does. It also has a lower FS in most cases. And when you listen to it, it's really smooth. Like, a lot of kicker subs are made for having a little bit of bump around 40 hertz to kind of help bring up cabin gain. Because if you're in a car like yours or SUV, the low end's boosted, and we try to bring that up. The QS are pretty much flat, right? So in a truck, they work really well.
Yeah, so I know I have the Comp Q12. My buddy has one as well, and he dailies that all the time. But he's got it more like a SPL build. Go ahead. Sorry. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Somebody just asked, does anybody remember ADS car audio from back in the day? So let's see.
Rob Payne.
I went off camera for a second. Hold on.
You're good. Go. We can hear you. Go ahead. He's looking for it.
See if I can clean up my messy office here a little bit. Pull this stuff out.
I mean, it's an office if you got an AP in there, Well,
test lab, office, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, same.
So, all
right, I just got to type in one more. Roger Demery for watching. Oh, if you're watching, I need another discount code. We're running out.
All right, let's see if I can get this camera in the right place. So, ADS
here.
8-channel.
Let me see if I can pull you up. Right here should be. I guess full screen. There we go. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So that's an ADS 8-channel, 60 watts by 8. I've always been meaning to put it in a car, but like I said, my car always ends up as prototype stuff, so it hasn't quite made it there. Macintosh, you know.
Oh yeah.
With
Look
the
at
meters.
Wow.
Alma Gates sub-amp out of Alma Gates' car.
Oh my God.
There's a whole pile of them still in here. I've gotten rid of about half of the stuff I own.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
There's still a pile of stuff from before my kicker days, or from the 90s, or from wherever, right?
Yeah.
API art series, stuff like that.
That's beautiful, man. Seriously, and to have like that Alma Gates one, man. I'm jelly. Never got to meet her, obviously, but still.
Yeah.
Still.
I only met her once, but yeah.
That's cool. That ADS though, what's so special about that one? Tell me real fast. What's
they were all like high biased Class AB amps, so they're very biased to A. So they'd play in the A realm longer than than some. They were really good for sound quality.
When you say A realm, is that AB, like AB?
AB, yeah,
so,
yeah. They're
okay.
an AB amplifier that was high biased to A. They have.
I have so many questions. What does that mean?
This one doesn't have it on the bottom, so you can't see it on a lot of their amplifiers had like differential input with a Zapco style DIN cable back in the 90s. They had crossovers before a lot of people did. They made some really nice speakers back in the day, so they were kind of known for their high-end stuff, and then they disappeared and got rebought and then came back and then fell apart and whatever they are now. I don't even know if they're a brand right now, but they made some nice clean sounding amplifiers, and they made unique stuff like 8-channel back in the 90s. Like
wow.
That's probably the only 8-channel I can think of back in the 90s. Right, like everybody was 4, 5, 1, 2. Right, that was what you got. So they had some 4s and 5s and 6s and 8s, and so they were kind of different.
Wow. Just ahead of the game.
Macintosh made a 6 at one point. Yeah. They were from Europe, so I think they looked at stuff a little differently than like we were over here, right? I think.
Yeah.
I don't really know their history real well, unfortunately. Just like some of their products back in the day.
That's cool, though. Man, my voice is falling apart. Thank you, Cushy, for subscribing. About to hit 25,000 subscribers. I'm catching up to Kicker. You guys got like 40.
Nice.
Catching up.
Nice. You gotta keep going.
Yeah, I had this
you
one
got
video.
All those people on Kicker Club. What's going on?
I know, right? You're telling me, man. 108,000 members. Yeah, and I'm like, subscribers. About that. It's a little bit harder. Just a little bit. Sorry, my throat's falling apart now. Let's see. Thank you for tuning in, Garrett. This guy's, again, awesome. Appreciate you. He's got over 100,000 subscribers. He passed me up. Let's see. CAE's up in here. I got all the winners pulled, so we are good to go, man. An hour and a half. 90 minutes-ish. 90 minutes. I can't. I actually did find the clip here. Let's see if I can find it. There it is, right there.
Show to about 90 minutes.
Remember that guy? Oh, you can't hear nothing. Oh, you have to watch this whole show after, and I will fix that bug. I don't know what it is. It's something. I use the Elgato Wave, so all my audio is routed, electronically, and then I try to bring on a guest. It's like, oh no, you have to mute this and pull this up. It's just a pain in the butt. But
no problem. Jason, yeah. I can tell you some of the amplifiers made it to 10 watts or so before they switched. But yeah, it's pretty low power. But if you look at a 50 watt or 75 watt full range amp, most of the time you're drawing about 10 to 12 watts. Like you're not making most of the power in your mid range most of the time. So
no, yeah. and that's the thing too. It's like I get the RMS rating for like 6.5 mid ranges, and then the amplifier that obviously does we'll say 50 watts at 4 ohms, but the speaker, unless you're playing 40 hertz and it's not crossed over, it's not going to see that much power at all. And you don't need that much power either for higher frequencies.
No, the tweeters, even though like we'll say 100 watt tweeter, right? because music's recorded at an octave decibel falling rate, like peak noise would look if you looked at it with something that didn't have the A weighting in it.
Right.
You'll see it falls off, just like our hearing does. So like tweeters, even if you set the gain to 100 watts with a sine wave, which will blow the tweeter up if you do that, they'll only play at like 10 watts when music comes, because music's recorded so low in the high end, right? Because we're very sensitive up there.
So they put their
music's
own...
recorded like this, right? Like it starts out here, and by the time you hit 1K, it's already down like 6 dB, and it just keeps rolling down and rolling down. And it's recorded that way because that's opposite of how we hear. So if they recorded it flat, we would think the top end was screaming at us, and we wouldn't listen to it at all.
Yep, no bass, nothing.
yeah, and we just like, nope, can't do this, right? So it's kind of an interesting world. There's a lot of things we don't talk about, like, any amplifier that's Class D or has an inductor on the output, there'll be a delay from the input to the output, and that will be completely defined by your A to D switches and how big your output inductor is. So for sound quality, when you're trying to set time, and we talk about like, oh, measuring stick works, right?
Yeah.
And then some people are like, well, measuring tape doesn't work. Well, if it doesn't work, it's probably because you're not taking into the 3 milliseconds that delayed for your sub amp, because that's how long it took to get through the output filter to turn into a sine wave for you, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that we know that doesn't really get talked about in the regular car audio world, right? Because it's too hard to explain or too hard to get people to follow along, right?
Yeah, what you don't know won't hurt you kind of stuff.
Yeah, type of thing, right? Because it only affects some people, right?
Yeah.
So, and the some people is very, very small thing. So, some of my favorite old school amps back in the day, the Power Moss PPI stuff.
There we go.
Right? They were cool. They would burn you to death if you put your hands on them after they've been playing, but they were cool. Here's a Pioneer Class A amplifier.
Oh, wow.
We talked a little about Class A-B before. This is actually high bias Class A-B. They called it Class A, but it actually switches over to Class B at higher power. So, Andy, real quick, you had asked about that. Class A-B starts out as Class A. All of them do, for like about a watt or two.
Okay.
Class A is always on, so the FET is always turned on. And so when you send signal through it, you're just turning it off. Well, that makes for power consumption to be 100% all the time when music isn't playing, and then maybe 40% when music's blasting full time, right?
Okay. Yeah.
AB starts out as Class A in the low power range, and then switches at some point to off and then turning on, right? And that's Class B. And that's why they're like 50% efficient. And then you get Class D to where you're actually only making power when you're switching. So everything's, has trade-offs. Class A is probably the best sounding one, but the heat required to get out of them is dramatic, and they're very inefficient.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, that's what
it makes it tough to make something like that for the real world, and that's why there's some tube amps out there that make 5 or 10 watts, and they're this big, and that's about all they do.
It's almost like having an air conditioner on full time with a Class A. From my understanding, it's just always pulling that power, regardless if you're playing actual music.
Minute it turns on.
Wow.
It's on, right?
Yeah, talk about really bad efficiency. I know Tony with his 300% efficiency. What about negative? You know what I mean? I know. And he explained himself, and I'm like, I get it, but I don't like it.
You mean the battery that's in? You mean you put a battery in an amplifier?
Yep.
So how long before I got to replace that battery? Just like I have to replace the battery in my phone, right? That's my biggest thing. Is it literally puts a life on the product, right?
You know what? I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that because
that to me, because like we put caps on the output side, right? To store energy.
Yeah, you have to.
The caps have a pretty long life cycle, 10, 12, 15 years, right? You're putting a lithium style, whatever technology version of lithium he's using.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid kind of thing. Yeah.
In an amplifier, and you're going to sit there and anytime you draw energy hard like that, like an amplifier does, it's usually pretty degrading to batteries. So it'd be interesting to see how
life cycle
looks on something like that, right?
Hey, we'll find out. Just like eventually, cigarettes were good for us, and now then people started dying. They're like, oh, not so good, But either way, Yeah, I know. When I seen that, I'm all about, efficiency, because like Kicker, they make efficient amplifiers, and I see anybody it's over what, I'm like, how? Physically, how? Oh, okay.
Because you're storing a bunch of energy over here that was already. So yeah, if you're not counting the energy you already put in there, then yeah, you can be really efficient. That if you have to charge that at some point,
that's like me when
if you play put on over and over and over, that battery is going to deplete.
Yes.
So at some point, you're going to have to recharge that battery, right?
Yep. And that's just the energy, the inertia that you're creating, and then it's still whatever. I was thinking of the same thing. I dropped off my work car at the shop, and I have this little electric scooter that I bring in the car, so I don't have to have Kayla, bring me back home when I drop a car off. Now I'm going down the hill. I'm like, oh yeah, look at this. I'm getting great mileage per battery wattage, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is great, but it's like I didn't have to go up the hill. The gas engine did. That's the same concept. It's like, no, it doesn't. Yeah.
You're cheating, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. It'll be interesting to see how it does with the heat and the cold and over time, right? Because like lithium or different types of lithium can't be charged at this or can't be charged at that.
Right. Yeah. Canada's cold.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Montana, where I'm from, it gets real cold. Yeah. And down here, it gets real hot, right? So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. Even lithium batteries in cars don't normally make it, more than 5 or 6 years before they're 40 or 50%, 60%, of their original life, right? So that's my thing. And looking at it, I'm just like, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I didn't even think about that.
Might work. It might end up being kind of short life cycle. Who knows, right? But
you need products like that, though. I know, it's just like
something new and different. We'll see how. Like I said, it's a neat idea. We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Here's a question, though, from Chris. Good question. 6-channel amp coming. I know you guys got the 7.1, the LX, so that's technically already a 6-channel, but...
Yeah. You won't see that yet next year, but there are a lot of things that are coming.
Okay. I know I've been waiting patiently for a DSP, like big time. Big time. I know you guys are working on stuff always. I'm like, I need a DSP really bad for me. I'm just, what I do. It's like, dude, if it doesn't say Kicker on it, I really don't want it, because it's just like everything I do. Plus, it's just good stuff. And I know you guys have been always, working on stuff for a while. But still, just something where I can, like, set it, forget it, like the key lock would be cool. But then also, to be able to go in like the IQ amplifier. I thought about using the IQ, because that's what Travis did from JY Power. They used the IQ amplifiers as the line driver to the KX amplifiers. I'm like, I should do that,
Yeah, I used our OEM amp forever, 2 of them as, DSPs for my system. So I know the needs out there. We've got some stuff in play, but we'll see.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We got a few donations here, but this one I can't pull up again, and it's some new stuff. I don't know what it is. Thank you, Jay Shipes, for gifting the jewels. Appreciate you. I don't know how many jewels that was. Well, we're gonna throw Joe under the bus here one more time.
Because we don't want you to blow it up. So turn the gain down, Andy.
Turn the gain down, Andy. I still didn't turn down the gain, Joe, just so you know. I did not turn it down.
I didn't expect you to listen.
No,
I did not expect you to listen.
That KXA, it's still banging away at 2400, because that's what I have on the L7X12 in Kayla's car, and I'm waiting to put that onto the XS whenever that comes out. And it's been hanging at half ohm, I'm getting every single watt out of that KXA, but it does do that little like pullback, whenever it gets a little bit too warm, or obviously the impedance and voltage and stuff. But now that I got LTO in there, it's singing pretty good.
Yeah.
We do got
you
more.
You guys don't realize how lucky you guys are having with the batteries you guys have available to you now.
It's retarded. It's
back in the
seriously.
90s, it was like, okay, how do we get enough power for this? And now it's like, oh yeah, just buy a couple battery banks. Here you go, throw them in, have a nice day. Like, yeah, that was not how I grew up.
I caught the tail end of it though, before like lithium was like real big. Like I had 4 AGM batteries in the Eclipse, just stacked in there. I actually lost like a dB or 2, because I had too many batteries underneath the box, and it was eliminating airspace for the base to travel.
grow, yeah.
And I was like, why isn't my voltage going any higher? It's because it's a 12-volt battery. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm gonna hit there anyway. So life lesson learned. And then I have to throw this up here too. We got gifted green team memberships. Thank you, CAE.
Hard. Yeah, yeah. Turned down for what? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate you, CAE. And then that's playing the Turn Down for What song. That is the Kicker Bronco theme song. That's what you guys need to put on the side of the Kicker Bronco. Just turn down for what? You need to. You need to. All right, man. You guys are still hanging out. We're already almost 2 hours into the show. 10,000 joules. 10,000 joules. How many joules is in a gigawatt? I guess we could do gigawatts.
This is what makes time travel possible. The flux capacitor.
Flux capacitor.
Should we make an amplifier that looks like a flux capacitor?
Oh, man. If you did, I would buy 3 of them. You need to. You know how many guys out there got DeLoreans are like, yeah, man, I just hooked up my amplifier.
The 10 guys we'd sell one to?
Yeah.
Limited edition.
Limited run, yes. I know, I was really upset when you guys stopped selling the goal letters, but I mean, 50th anniversary, you either got them or you didn't, and I bought one of each.
For a year?
Yeah.
I've got 2 tins in my closet. That's it.
Yeah. I'll be rocking the 15 every day. That's what I have on the LX3000. And man, dude, it eats it. It digs, you know. I got a temp gauge on it, you know. I see when too much is too much, but it handles. I didn't realize that they were 800 RMS, the 15. I'm like, man, this is like a CVX. This is like a Kicker CVX almost. It's nice. We got another one here. Turn down the gain, Andy.
Because we don't want you to blow it up. So turn the gain down, Andy.
I'm not listening. I mean, I will listen to Joe. We'll do the down firing, but that gain, man, I'm not turning it down.
The gain's
I like
not
it.
coming down? That's
Nope.
all right.
I like it right there. Turn the bass knob down a little bit, you know. Speaking of that, well, before we end and do the giveaway stuff, the LX Shock 2.0, I need to pick your brain about this. I did a little bit of research and I see what you guys posted between the Shock 1.0 on the KXA and then obviously the 2.0 on the LX with the different octaves. And now you guys have an octave below and above for the harmonics to sound better. What made you guys think of that? And is there any more stuff down the road for other things too with that kind of science?
Well, for us, like, we made Shock 1.0 was I gotta be honest, a toss in for a feature.
Yeah.
Right? It was something we could do. We played with it a little bit and we're like, okay, let's fix some settings here and optimize it and put it in the thing. And it worked. But compared to the gold standard, in my opinion, it wasn't quite good enough, right?
Yeah.
For that type of processor. And we're not one to work our way around patents or try to like break patents or any of that stuff, right? So we were doing something completely different and we wanted to stick that way. So 1.0 was okay. It made a subharmonic down. It halved it. It did all right, but I never loved the way it sounded, right? When I go play like a song from the 90s or 80s that I have that has no bass in it, that has some mid bass in it, it did a little bit, but not enough, right?
Right.
The new Shockwave 2.0 looks at the whole frequency spectrum that you feed into it, whether it be 200 hertz and down or whatever you give it, right? And then it's going to take whatever in the bandwidth that we defined, and it's going to add half over here and add half over here. And so it makes a nice, even arch on both sides, where the other one just kind of added something down below.
Yeah.
It sounds much more natural to me, and to everybody to listen to it. Like, we all liked it because it sounds like it didn't sound like we tried to fake the bass. It sounded like the thing came with that, right?
Yeah, it really does.
In most cases. And so that we liked. That has kind of been... We've had requests to turn that into a standalone product. Right?
Really?
We've had requests for that to be made into a couple other things.
Like
nothing's currently being worked on.
Wow.
But it might turn into something else, right? Who goes it?
It does sound really good. Now, like you said with the KXA, whenever I, like the KXA bass knob would die and I would accidentally have the shock on, and I'm like, what is wrong with is my sub blown? Is something like, what did I
weird,
do
right?
when I'm playing rebass? Right. Normal music, it wasn't too bad, like, but I'm still playing it through an L7X most of the time. I wasn't like a huge fan of it, or I had it on the 18 and Cookie Monster. I'm still playing, just low information anyway. And then when I got the LX 3000 in the car, because I never got to try it, I put it on the dyno, I did the dyno, and then I did the Tesla, and then I blew it up right before the live stream, because it was working for a while, Joe, on that Tesla coil. It was literally hitting the RCAs and sending voltage to the preamp section to make the speaker jump with a Tesla coil. So, I mean, right. Blew it up, never got to try it. I was running the Warhorse on the Kicker Gold 15 in there, and like, obviously, you know, it's loud, whatever. When I put the LX3000 in there, it sounded better. I'm like, I don't know if it's just because I crossed over, and then I started playing with the Shock 2.0. I'm like, oh my God, this sounds good. This sounds good. And it's just a normal box, tuned to 38, you know, 4 cubes-ish for that 15. Like, it's not oversized, not undersized. Prefab, if you will. And it just plays music that I would not normally play, and it certain things
you still
it's like,
have fun,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
I've got a
works.
couple guilty songs from the 90s, like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, like one of his songs I like, has no bass whatsoever, right? There's a couple of those things.
Backstreet Boys, man, you know what I mean? It's like,
really
now
needed.
it's bumping.
Like, it's like, man, there's nothing, right? No, Shock nor Shock 2.0 don't need a full range signal. Just something up to at least like 150, and you should be able to get them to work just fine. For Jason W.
Yes. Yeah, because I think that's just for the sub bass, obviously, because it's for the amplifier it only plays.
Well, that's kind of one of those things. Epicenter, for the longest time, it may still need a full range signal. I don't know anymore to do their stuff correctly, right? So that question's been asked before.
Right, because the Epicenter kind of stuff does similar things as the Shock 2.0, but just for like full spectrum stuff, right?
So we're doing everything in the digital realm.
Yeah.
The Epicenter literally takes whatever the frequency is, boosts it till it's a square wave, cuts it in half, and then cuts it in half frequency-wise, and then puts it back. And then they give you a couple knobs to define how wide you want them to do that with.
Like a Q
and
factor.
How much, and how much you want them to do that with, right? Ours is actually looking at the signal, and we're actually digitally creating stuff above and below it because we're a DSP, right?
That's insane.
So all the LX amps have a DSP in them, so
that's beautiful. Yeah, and then, you know, like the latency and just all that kind of stuff, it works the way you guys did it, man. I was impressed. Now, obviously, you don't turn it up all the way, you know, like you can. But like, it's like, all right, little gravy, not so much gravy. This song needs more gravy. I'll kind of keep it there just for all the songs. You know what I mean?
Turn it down before the bass song comes on next time.
Yeah. And the clip light helps too, because it's like, all right, I'm like little clip, and then when I put the shock on there, it's like full clip. I'm like, yeah, we're getting all the power, right, Joe? Yeah. Oh, man. So you've been behind the LX, the KXA, the KX, the CX, obviously. The IQ amplifier you were behind as well. And then how about what is that one before that?
Key. Also Key.
Key
IX,
technology.
IX was...
IX, that's the one I was thinking.
IX was about where I got started.
Wow.
It was right about there.
I've seen those. I never had them. I seen them in that show car you guys have in the museum there. They're all, loaded in there.
Yeah.
But beautiful stuff, man.
Those were like the first downsizing, right? Switching frequency went up in Class D and size went down.
Well, I like the big ZX and SX boards, man. The surfboards, they're massive.
I've got an old KX 1201 here, still new in the box. It's massive.
Yeah.
And then I have one of the original SX prototypes. So if you open it up, it's got like wires jumped everywhere and proto boards holding it together. But it works. You can do all the crossovers and everything with the Nokia style controls, right? So,
Nokia style. That's how you turn it on, right? Yeah.
So I got some of that old stuff laying around here still. But.
That's awesome. That's awesome, though. I mean, right, so you started really designing when products turned towards what they really look like now, which is the future, and Class D, small power, or big power in a small space. And I feel like that's the name of the game for most consumers. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to take up their whole trunk for a 1200 watt amplifier. They just, give me a CXA 1200. You know what I mean? And it's like,
No, yeah.
that's it.
And, the funny thing is, it's like the Key 204, right? You've seen one of those. They're like,
yeah.
cell phone size. The actual original prototype that Fernando made is about half that size.
Oh, my God.
The problem is it made it like $30 more expensive to make it. So to make it cost effective, we had to go ahead and grow it and change some components. But it's tiny. That's like
insane.
From there to here on your phone, it was the smallest little 200 watt amplifier. So we're still shrinking stuff. We're starting to run into the problem where the connectors are the limitation.
Right.
Like, you need enough room
inputs.
to have the connectors go on everything and controls. And
Can't we just have wireless? I want wireless power wire, Joe. Come on, man. Come on.
We can do that, but if you get in between it might bake you a little.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? You got a point. Bring it on. New kind of therapy. Oh, man. This has been awesome. I definitely need to bring you on again, Joe. I mean, I knew this was going to be a blast. I've been wanting to have you on for like a year now, and it's just like, life, time, and you've been on the Unmasked show a lot, too. I don't want to overwork you, plus everything else you're doing.
I haven't been on there for a while now, but I think I'm coming up again here at some point. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
It's, between my travels and how busy we are this year with all the stuff we're working on, it makes it a little tough. But always enjoy talking to the guys and actually talking to our customers. Big thing I did before COVID was twice a year go out with our trainers and visit the shops and talk to the installers and get feedback. And I haven't had a chance to do that lately, so I need to really get back on that, because that's one of the more valuable things for me, is to actually be able to see how people are actually using stuff, what they're having issues, whether it's our products or others, and then how can we help them, right?
Right.
Yes, it handled the heat just fine, Jason. The key amplifiers all have thermal rollback, but they don't ever really get into them. So in a real car,
Yeah,
but,
I think that
it was fine with the heat.
That was the question I had, that thermal rollback. I first experienced that with a Kenwood 9104D monoblock. It would do that. I'd call it the limp mode. You know what I mean? And then it's like a half power kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how a lot of amplifiers started out. It was like one third, like one third, like you're almost nothing, right? And some of our original thermal rollback amps, the original PXA line, I'm trying to think of what else had it. Maybe some KX might had it. They had like 5 steps. The new thermal rollback that we do now is fully a curve. So all we do is when you get up to a certain temperature, we pull power and try to maintain that temperature. And so it's literally just sits there and looks like a sine wave, right? It's like up and down as you play more or play less. If you let more temp get out of it, we go back up. If you put more in, we pull down.
Yeah.
And so we literally just follow it now. It's pretty cool technology, because it takes and makes it until you hit
I was going to say a
down,
certain
right, which
height.
is a lot of power. You can't really hear it on sub. On mids, you can probably hear like 1.5 dB, but 1.5 dB is still a lot of power.
Yeah.
Right.
Quarter.
So, we're able to take a lot of power out before you can even notice it and manage that heat for a long period of time. So, like our old PXA amplifier in the amp rack I had in my Forerunner, the 304s, the 2 4-channels, would always turn off at 45 minutes when I was cruising down the highway, because, of course, I was jamming, which it's to OKC, the place I'm normally going, is like an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, I'd turn to get on 33 or turn on to get on 51 to come home, right when you turn off the highway as you've been here. And all my mids had shut off, and I was just like,
it's the worst feeling. It's like, I gotta
so
let
the
them
new
cool
ones,
down.
right?
Yeah.
They never shut off, right? So, like, that's so much better solution for a consumer.
Yeah.
Because even if you lose a little bit of output, you still get to listen to your stuff all day long, and it never goes away, right?
No, that's perfect. Now, what about the amplifiers on like the Warhorse or CXA 1800, like on the monoblock side? I know they hit a physical limit. I mean, obviously they're going to go in thermal shutdown, because that's the only time I ever see them do it, is when I have like the 1800s at half ohm and I'm just full tilt boogieing for like 35 minutes. I got spark fannies blowing on them. It's a matter of time. They're gonna shut down on me.
Yeah. Now the Warhorse probably won't.
No, I haven't had a Warhorse shut down yet.
there's enough heat sinking fan in a Warhorse that you might be at quarter ohm or less or something trying to get that thing to shut down with heat. I don't know if you can.
I'm waiting to see that little light go from green to yellow, Joe. I have not seen it.
Yeah, you probably won't. Like we put fans in it for fun because it really didn't need them.
Wow, right? Almost like the old Warhorse like, too. That's insane.
Yeah, it's like we really probably didn't need the fans in it, but
they're there.
You know, we want to be careful. Yeah. The CXA is more of like a consumer daily driver amp, right? Like, and so the current CXAs, they will hit thermal and turn off, but it's going to take a long time to do it, or you're going to run them really, really, really hard under what they should be to get there, right?
I would never do that, Joe. Nope. It definitely does not help where I had them installed, because like they're underneath, you don't see them or anything, so that's why it's just circulating hot air anyway, and they're mounted flush, so there's no air going underneath them. I almost need to lift them up a little bit to get some more airflow. But yeah, that build's done for now, and I'm probably going to do something bigger with that anyway. But no, I just wanted to ask about that too, because that's cool that like the amplifiers that you were talking about, how it's like a curve rather than like a step down, because you're going to notice the step down rather than a curve. You know what I mean? Your ears naturally get used to dBs anyway, and that's why you turn it up after a little while. It's like, all right.
Yeah, you keep the compression starts to happen on yourself, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. All right, let's get these prizes to everybody, and then we'll have to let you go. But this has been awesome, Joe. Seriously, man. Seriously.
I appreciate being on.
That's why I try to tell everybody I could as fast as I could, too. I usually don't double post the kicker stuff. I'm like, listen, you guys need to tune in. Joe knows his stuff, man. Obviously. Obviously. I mean, you are the janitor there. That's what you said.
Yeah, the janitor.
Yeah.
Electronics janitor. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we got 4 prizes. Joe knows them. Let's do the TW1. Third place goes to Jason L. from Dallas, Texas. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. You'll get an email from Kicker. Second place is the TW2 earphones. That goes to Charlene P. from also Dallas, Texas. It is raining in Dallas today. Congratulations, both of you. And then we got 2 more prizes. We got the Bullfrog 100 and then the 50% off discount code. Joe, do you get 50% off a kicker? I need to know. Or is it 100%?
No, it's definitely not 100%.
Oh, come on, Steve. No. No, you
I'd
gotta
have to go ask for something special if I was going to do that.
Yeah, that's it. Here you go. Here's your Christmas package. Here's a brand new amplifier for your car. We got the Bullfrog. Voice is falling apart. Valerie R. Bullfrog 100. Congratulations from Bridgeport. You'll get an email from Kicker as well. I try to let people know because they're like, hey, I didn't get nothing. I'm like, that's Kicker, not me. Me is the 50% off discount code, and I'm slacking. I got to give my buddy Jeffy his 50% off. Good for anything at kicker.com. And thank you, Steve, for always doing this for the show. These guys love it. They're like, wait, yeah, 50% off, man. That's where it's at. I'm like, yeah, that's where it's at. And you can get those just everything you want at Kicker, 50% off, buy one, get one free. Goes to...
That's a great deal.
I know it is. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. They're losing money here. Joe A. from Thornton, Colorado. Congratulations. It's a little rigged. Just a little bit. I can't even. No, thank you, Joe, so much for joining me here tonight. And we'll definitely bring you on as long as it works out in your schedule. I love bringing people on, because I got my full-time business. This is my other full-time business, and just keeping the motors going. You got a free afternoon, just let me know. Just let me know, okay?
Yeah, appreciate it. I'd love to be back. It was fun.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for watching. And of course, you can find Joe at Kicker. Go hang out with Joe. Tell him he's doing good at work, and buy some more Kicker amplifiers and all their electronics. And gives Joe a job to do. More stuff coming down the pipeline, right?
Come on by and get a tour, guys. We'll be happy to have you.
That's it. Absolutely, man. Hear the wall of boom and just look at it. That's it. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent Tuesday night. Catch Unmasked next Tuesday thereon. And, of course, the Unmasked after show here next Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern. But we do have a very special guest next Tuesday, Ian Gray. You might have heard of this guy doing a 149.6 on two 8-inch L7X 8s in a little car. It's insane. We're going to have him on. And thank you guys for watching. And as always, stay living loud. See ya. Roll it. Hit it, Ernie. Hit it. Stay, Joe. Don't go nowhere. Just so you know, we got this thing. It's called the caboose.
Okay.
You do got to look at it. Just look at it.
Uh-oh. Okay. So we're kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud. It's not the same without it. Seriously, for tuning in. 60 viewers the entire show. You guys are great. And Joe's awesome. He made it easy. He made it easy. Appreciate you guys. Have an excellent week. Stay living loud in your kicker system. Turn up the gain. Don't turn it down. Don't turn it down. Come on, you gotta enter the contest. Crank up the bass. I was wondering what you were saying there, Chad. Appreciate you guys. And then this is called the caboose. You're probably gonna hear a little bit of double echoing, but you got to dance with me here, Joe. What we do is we wait for the last super chat. The kicker will start kicking. It will happen. It's called the caboose. Have you ever seen a caboose, like on a train or anything like that? Have you ever?
I have.
Yeah, you've seen a caboose. Let's see, like a cornet caboose.
Cornet. He does traveling installs.
There he is, but no kicker cars coming in.
The sweet caboose.
Kicker cars coming in. He's stealing it. feeling it.
Sucking a log every week.
And now we dance. Now we dance. Love you guys. Do the beard. Do the beard.